Oh.
We have to stop the show. We have legitimate breaking news.
What sport?
Baseball.
Oh, God. I don't know if I could take this.
I know.
You're going to take it, Evan, and you're going to victory lap all around this place.
I'm going to victory lap?
What?
I'm excited.
Will Salmon is reporting within the last minute the Mets and Bo Bichette are in agreement on a 3-year deal.
I called it!
You nailed it.
I called it! Yes!
No.
I told you, Stearns, listen!
Wow.
Yes!
Wow.
All right! My guy! I'm glad I pivoted before it happened. All right?
That is solid.
And
That was your 11 o'clock pivot.
Well, by the way, it was more like my 8 a.m. pivot because I did it on the Rico. But sometimes
Whatever. Some of the Rico listeners didn't hear it.
The New York Mets.
Because they were expecting it last night.
That's right. The New York Mets and Bo Bichette have agreed to a 3-year deal. And there's so much fascinating stuff from this based on our discussion from an hour ago. Number one, the positions. I immediately said, here's my plan. I'd put Bo at third base. I'd consider him in the outfield with Brett Beatty moving to first base or left field. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what the Met plan is.
Right.
And also, how much money are they paying him? The Phillies. Hold on. Sean, you'll like this. Hey, Philly. How'd that meeting go with Bo Bichette? You losers.
Right.
Remember that meeting?
Right.
You were so excited. Ooh,
So now this
Good for you,
now
Ev.
this does bring up the question: what does the deal look like? And what was Philly offering? I don't remember if we
Who
ever
cares?
got reported.
Screw him. He doesn't want to go there.
No, but I'm just wondering if they dodgered the Phillies.
Did we dodge with the Phillies?
I have the money.
You have the
All
money.
right, before you tell me, I want to guess. So I was saying to you, huge money AAV.
Yep.
And I think I said 40. Did I say 40 to you?
You did say 40.
So I'm going to go with a huge AAV of 3 years, $40 million a year, and I'm thinking an opt-out after?
So 3 years, 120, opt out after the second year.
After the second year, yeah, because I think they'd want him on at least 2 years.
48 seconds ago from Jeff Passan. Bo Bichette and the Mets are in agreement on a 3-year, $126 million contract.
Dude, I freaking nailed it.
We
Right.
don't have any word on opt-out.
So it's
though.
more than 40 a year.
Right.
It's about 41, 42 a year.
Wow.
I got to tell you, rewind to 11 o'clock.
Dude, now we got to figure out what Philly was offering and see if the Mets are starting to do what the Dodgers
Oh,
did.
they absolutely did, because I
Yeah.
think what the Phillies were probably offering was a long-term deal at $30 million a year, which is probably what his market said.
Yep.
And I think Bo Bichette got sold on exactly what I was selling at 11 and selling to Kyle Tucker.
Right, at 27 years old, he's going to get another deal.
Yes. And free agent market sucks for the next couple of years. Really, really unfortunate. I was looking forward to that John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin debate, but maybe we can save that for later on. That is a pivot, and it's the pivot I wanted, and it changes the complexion of this lineup. I think it changes the complexion of the
also,
offseason.
It complicates it, but it changes it.
Yes.
Where else can Polanco play?
Well, Polanco can play all the way in the infield, but right now the Mets are very set in the infield because
Right.
Marcus Semion's your second baseman. Lindor is your shortstop. The openings right now are first base, third base, DH clearly, and left field.
Right.
So could any of those guys play left field? Who's going to play first base? Like, there's a lot of weird defensive options. And look, the pushback you put on me when I brought this up an hour ago was, hey, you guys talked so much about
Run prevention.
and now you're going to have all these guys out of position. That was certainly Sean's argument back at me. And my point was, first of all, I think these guys are athletic.
Of course.
So I think they can
they
do
all
it.
grew up as shortstops, and they played everywhere.
Right.
And did everything. So you couldn't do it, but what you've become professional at is being an infielder.
Yeah. But also, they needed to upgrade this offense. Like, they lost a lot of production, and quite frankly, they still have lost a lot of production with losing Pete Alonso. I don't want to make it out like, oh, everything's fine, but they closed the gap in terms of replacing what they lost with a player in Bichette who's very different than Pete Alonso. He hits for a much higher batting average.
Yep,
He
311 last year.
Does not hit for as much power, strikes out a little bit less. He's more athletic, obviously very different defensively, but he's that right-hand hitter that this lineup surely needs.
Right.
So he's not the same as Pete, just like Kyle Tucker wasn't the
He's
same
just
as
different.
Pete.
He's a different kind of player, but
And
a valuable player. Sean, the WRC plus on him versus Stephen Kwan,
Thank you.
134.
Wow, okay.
That means he's 34% better
Yes.
than everybody else. So, ask me how I'm feeling, Tiki.
No, you should be feeling great.
I'm excited.
Because there's a pivot. The pivot happened.
Yes, and it happened very quickly.
And it happened immediately, basically.
And they followed the script,
Yeah.
which is, as much as we may disagree with it, and that's irrelevant at this point, about long-term deals versus short-term deals, if you're going to play in this marketplace, if you're going to play in the place of we're only going short-term deals, you got to pay up with enormous average annual salaries.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
And we like it because he took a invaluable part of Toronto's roster last year.
Well, he took
out of the American League.
And he didn't go to Philly. I had to take that arrogant call an hour ago saying no one wants to play for the Mets. Bah, bah, bah. And my response was, wait a second. No one wants to play for the Mets if they're competing with the Dodgers.
Yes.
But do you want to play for the Mets if you're competing with Philadelphia? And
Yes.
clearly the answer is, yeah. Bo Bichette couldn't wait to get out of that stupid city.
And it's interesting.
Wait.
It's interesting for Bo Bichette because he's young. He obviously, or at least his agent is advising him about what's been happening in New York. That is, some stalwart core pieces of the organization are no longer there, and so there is a void that is just created. And at 27 years old, you come in, you play to your level.
Yep.
Then you can become a star very quickly here because it's Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, and then who else? A bunch of young guys. Look, you have high hopes for them. Beatty and Francisco Alvarez and maybe even Vientos as a DH or whatever. Like, there's hope, but those guys are young and not proven. You're proven. You could come and make a real name for yourself here. And then if it works and they don't want to pay you, you go get paid someplace else at 30.
What I'm curious about, and I don't think this has been reported yet, Sean, is there opt-outs or is it a straight-up 3-year contract?
Yeah.
Which...
This one wasn't
No
talked
word on
about
it
for
yet.
yeah, and it will take a while because it wasn't. I mean, there was a week and a half of Kyle Tucker,
and there was also
conversation.
zero connection between the Mets and Bo Bichette.
Right.
And the reason I never was enamored by Bo Bichette, because I mentioned this on the Rico and I even said it to you that this is a new name for me. I loved him with the Yankees, obviously, but I didn't love him for the Mets because I questioned the position, like how he
Where
fits
does he
in.
fit?
Right.
Where does he fit?
I've grown to accept that because they needed a bat.
Yeah.
Like they needed another legitimate bat in the middle of this lineup. And I'm willing to make that kind of risk when it comes to defense if you're going to improve the offense, especially with no Pete Alonso, no Kyle Tucker, Cody Bellinger never being realistic. So I was willing to kind of make that concession. Now, Bo Bichette turns 28 the first week of March.
Yes.
So if this is a straight-up 3-year contract, he is signed for his age 28, his age 29, and his age 30 season. So he would enter free agency if there is no opt-out as a 31-year-old.
Yeah.
Which is not, look, that's Cody's age.
Yeah. It's
It's
not
Pete
ideal.
Alonso's age.
It's not ideal unless you are for a long-term deal. Unless you're raking.
He's got to perform, yeah.
He's got to be great.
But you know what he's going to get to show here, and we'll see positions, because what I won't rule out right now as we talk about positions, and I mentioned it at 11, is the idea of him moving to the outfield. Like,
Yeah.
he's a good athlete.
Yeah.
Look, he's only played shortstop until the postseason. Like, literally, the only games he has ever played in his major league career is at shortstop until the postseason.
And then
right?
what happens in the postseason?
He played second base.
Ah, yes.
Right? They kept Andres
Oh,
Jimenez
that's right,
at shortstop.
that's right.
So he moved positions at, think about it, the most important time. Obviously, he's not playing shortstop here. So no matter what position he plays, whether it's third base or it's outfield or wherever it is a new position. And I'm just open-minded enough to say, you know what? You could play him in left field.
Well, and he might be more prone to do that because a lot of the reports, and Feinstein started this last night, that his biggest issue in Toronto was he was done playing on turf. So without an outfield turf to run around being on grass, he might be more apt and prone to do it, where he would have been anti that at
he
any point in
didn't want
Toronto.
to play on turf.
I
That's
got you. I was
why.
confused by what you meant by
No,
that.
me
that's
too.
his.
I
He
got it.
wanted out of Toronto because he thought the turf was hurting him.
Fair enough. I just think
Right,
it's an
because
option.
they have turf in the infield.
Yeah.
Correct. But my only point is if the option is to move him all around, he would have never even considered that in Toronto. The Mets have grass, and this is a big
Where
difference.
would you move him? So the options right now, we'll get your calls in a second in reaction if you're just tuning in. Yes, the Mets lost Kyle Tucker. They have pivoted in a big way. Bo Bichette to a 3-year deal. The best part is if you rewind to 11 a.m., you'll hear that was my pivot plan. It's almost like I had information.
Yeah.
I didn't. I
Did
didn't.
ya?
I know I didn't.
Does this count as a puff of smoke, by the way?
I mean, it's a big move. It's a significant move, and we can argue.
No, this isn't Pope worthy.
No deferrals, no opt-outs.
Oh, good. I like that better.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
for the Mets, you obviously absolutely
So
love it
you've
better.
got him for the next 3 years.
Correct.
And the motivation is go break out and be a superstar for 3 years. And at age 31, there's no chance in hell David Stearns is going to resign you.
Yeah. That's the challenge for him, for Bo Bichette. He has to know that it's a 3-year stint with the Mets, and that's it.
Yeah. And then have a big year. Now, John Morosi's tweeting the expectation is for Bo Bichette to play third base, which was the initial thought. So if they go Bichette at third now, you got this option with Brett Beatty. You could either move him to left field and see what he looks like out there, or he could be your first baseman, and Beatty and Polanco could kind of be like a combo at first base. Two guys trying to learn the position. Now, they could also trade Brett Beatty. I understand that's an option. I would need to know what I'm getting back. I got one. Brett Beatty to Boston for Jaron Duran. Bang, let's go. Now in business.
Yeah, Brett Beatty's not in the conversation right now.
Well, he is on a position change.
On a position, yeah.
But am I open to trading him for another need like an outfielder? Sure. Yeah, I'm for it. It depends on the trade. Like the Marlins asked for Brett Beatty for Edward Cabrera, and I was not in favor of that. To me, no offense to Cabrera, he's got high-octane stuff, high potential. I was not willing to trade Beatty in a deal like that. But maybe today, with Bo Bichette replacing him at third base, if that is true, that's the Met plan, Beatty could be more movable, if you will.
Oh, it certainly feels like he's movable or at least expendable for the Mets. And given that there's still a lot of upside to his game, you could get something for him.
Yeah, want to go Brett Beatty for Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez? Could use an outfielder.
Yeah, we need outfielders right now.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We can't do anything right now.
No, and we haven't, as the Yankees, done anything.
No, the Yankees have added one player from outside the organization. Yes. And this could impact the Yankees, too, obviously. In fact, let's dive into that as well with your phone calls, 888-808-1019. Gabe is in Wayne, New Jersey. What's up, Gabe?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. Yesterday I called in and I said, what would be worse for the Yankees' chances of signing Cody Bellinger? The Mets signing Kyle Tucker or the Blue Jays signing Kyle Tucker? I guess the answer was C, which was nobody really playing for.
Right.
So now looking at what Bo Bichette just landed. By the way, Heyman says that he's definitely playing third base.
Okay.
And Rosenthal says that there's actually 2 opt-outs in the deal after the first and second year. So check that one.
Whoa, hold on a second. That there is opt-outs after the first and second year?
So here's the problem. Yeah. Twitter just crashed in the midst of this. The passing tweet said no deferrals or anything.
All right. Well, deferrals are different than opt-outs.
But in any case, now thinking from the Yankees' perspective, I mean, the Blue Jays have to be pissed, right? Bichette feels like a backup plan at worst. And now, they got to pivot to Bellinger, wouldn't you think?
Who, the Blue Jays?
Pivot? Yeah, the Blue Jays.
Yeah, they are going to pivot.
Yeah.
In a big way. By the way, let's clear this up real quick. There are opt-outs
after years 1 and 2 now.
So that is a huge change, which means he could be gone after 1 year. Now, the Mets are giving up draft picks to get him because he turned down the qualifying offer, which is – it's interesting that Stearns is willing to do that. That almost feels a little panicky.
Yeah, it
that
feels
you'd be willing
we
to
have
sign
to do
him.
something. We have to ensure something this offseason for our roster for 2026.
I am not against this. I still think it's worth it, but I am a little surprised that David Stearns is comfortable potentially losing him after 1 year and losing 2 draft picks in the process.
I'm not surprised about the opt-out. I'm surprised that it's after year 1.
Year 1 and year 2.
Yeah, but just forget year 2 is fine. I'd get that. Year 1, that's surprising.
Well, here's the good thing. If he's opting out of $42 million, he had a big year. So if he opts out, it means he produced in a major way and helped this team win games.
Heyman's also saying a $5 million opt-out bonus? What the hell does that mean? Who gets that bonus?
I think he does.
He gets rewarded for opting out?
If he opts out, he gets...
Yeah.
What?
So he could get $47 million
so
for
that's
playing
almost like saying opt out. It's almost like we have to sign you, but we don't really want you.
Why would you say that?
Because if you opt out, we're giving you $5 more million.
All right.
I'd like to understand that more.
Am I misreading that?
Well, I'd love to.
That makes no sense.
I'd love to understand the reading, but every time I click, Twitter recrashes. So this is where we're at.
I have it. Bichette has no deferrals in the deal. Mm-hmm. He has opt-outs after year 1 and year 2. He's expected to play third base. He has a $5 million opt-out bonus. So, yes.
What does that mean?
It means he gets $5 million more if he opts out.
But why would you incentivize someone to opt out?
Maybe it's a negotiation. That's what they asked for. Bo Bichette doesn't necessarily want.
But why would you give that?
Because you got to get the player. It's the market. If you're going to look, we talked about this with Tucker.
Why not just pay him $5 more million?
Because if he opts, I don't know. I don't know.
It almost sounds cheap. It's weird.
Cheap for who?
The Mets. He's like they're being cheap.
Him $47 million.
No, they're paying him $42 million.
But $47 if he opts out.
Right. So it's almost like, hey man, we want to pay you $41 million. No, I want $47. Okay, how about when you opt out, we'll give you $5 million.
Yeah, but it's
so you're deferring a $5 million. So it's not a deferral, but it is a deferral because it's happening.
Yeah.
He's opting out. So I know what Passan said. There's no deferral. This is de facto a deferral.
All right.
And again,
does it bother you enough to not want to sign him?
Anything. I think it's just stupid business because why give somebody $5 million if you don't have to? But that is what it is. If it took that to get the deal done because he wanted $45 million or $40 whatever million, and they were
maybe it affects 41. The AAV. Ever think of that? I don't know.
I'm sure it affects the AAV. It definitely affects the AAV.
Here's the question.
Why does that affect the Mets?
I don't care about the $5 million bonus. What I care about is, do you have an issue with the fact that he can opt out after 1 year? That you're paying the guy and
I
you're
do.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, I liked it better when it was 3 years. No,
100%. And 2 would be fine. But I still have to ask the question, is this Mets team well-positioned enough to be doing a 1-year deal with Bo Bichette? Meaning, we're going to win it this year, and Bo Bichette is helping us doing it. Like the Yankees did with Juan Soto.
Right.
It was worth it.
Right.
1-year deal. Let's get Juan Soto. We got to the World Series. Now, we stunk, and it is what it is, but we got to where we wanted to go. Are the Mets doing that with Bo Bichette?
I think they're trying to make the playoffs. They're clearly not as good as the Dodgers, but if they make the playoffs, sure, anything can happen. We talk about that all the time. Look.
That's a weird opt-out.
I like the move because they needed the player, and it's a player I wanted. I would have loved it more if there weren't opt-outs.
Yeah.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. But they got the player. And to get a player on a short-term deal like this, you have to make concessions that seem absurd. Like paying a guy $42 million a year who's not worth $42 million a year, or throwing in $5 million opt-out bonuses. Either way, simple test. Are the Mets better positioned to compete in 2026 with Bo Bichette or without Bo Bichette?
With
and the
Bo
answer
Bichette.
is with.
It's not even a question.
So from that standpoint, I'm glad they made the move.
Yeah, and they deferred $5 million.
If that's what you want to call it, that's totally fine.
That's exactly what it is.
All right. Let's go to Ed in Port Washington. What's up, Ed?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good.
How's everybody today?
What's up, Dad?
Just for the baseball savant there. My man, come on. You serious? 42. We're paying him that much money? This was a total insult to Pete Alonso. A total insult. And your boy Joe is right, 100% right. This guy's a joke. The boy wonder's got to go. He's destroying our ball club. It is disgusting on what this guy is doing to our ball club.
So you don't like this, Ed?
Like it? It's an understatement, Teak.
I would have rather have paid Pete Alonso on a short-term deal. I don't think there was any chance Pete was going to accept it. And I do agree with the notion that I would have tried, like I would have made that attempt. But I don't think that was going to happen because the difference between Bichette and Alonso is Bichette can benefit by going back into free agency a year from now.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Pete could not have done a 3-year deal.
He's in his 30s, coming off a monster year.
Right, 31. So if he would have done this exact deal, let's say without the opt-outs, he's 34. He's not getting a long-term
But here's the problem. So I agree if we're going to go relitigate history. Would I have preferred Alonso on a short-term deal? Absolutely. But he's gone and he's not coming back. Mm-hmm. So today, on January 16th, as they lost Kyle Tucker to the LA Dodgers, this is their best pivot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's go to Ozzy and Woodridge. What's up, Oz?
Ozzy.
What a roller coaster ride for this Cowboy Met fan this week. Oh, my gosh.
I got a headache.
Yeah, same with Jets Mets fans, too, to an extent.
No doubt.
Yeah, well, we have no hope, the Jets. At least the Mets have a glimmer of hope.
Ozzy, do you love this? Hate it?
Yeah, well, you got, like, the hope smack in your face. Me, he's right in my division, a team builder and, a CEO guy. So rough start to the week. And I know the Giants weren't going to listen to me and my trolling Cowboy call for them to go after McCarthy.
Right.
But for them not to listen to the generational talent, the future, who wanted McCarthy from jump all the way until the Harbaugh news got announced, now that's a slap in the face to the future, wouldn't you think?
It definitely is. You're no longer generational.
Yes.
Oh, my. And he was doing it, Teak, right up until the last minute when the news broke on his show about the Harbaugh hire. So there's no escaping that one. I can't believe they didn't listen to him, you know?
I'm still stunned by that. I thought the Giants always listened to Tom.
Yeah, and then the rolling up, down, the Tucker news. But now we got, Bichette. Let's go after Bellinger. Get a little killer bees action going.
But Ozzy, it's not happening. Like, I understand, hey, now go get Cody. He can play center field. The lineup would be even better. Of course it would. And yes, if you told me the Mets added Cody Bellinger, great. They're not doing that because the offers they wanted to hand out, and I'll include this with Alonso from the past, I'll include this with Kyle Tucker from yesterday, and obviously with the move they just succeeded in pulling off by signing Bo Bichette, is they're not going long-term. And Cody Bellinger won 7 years.
Right.
So I think the Yankee fan worry on a move like this is how Toronto reacts. It is a fair question, which I brought up earlier into just not getting Kyle Tucker. How will they react? Well, now they didn't get Kyle Tucker. They lost Bo Bichette. You have to believe the Blue Jays are a major threat for Cody Bellinger, just using logic.
Right, because they're aggressive. Like they are not. They're Dodgers extraordinarily light. Right, they're trying to just bring in free agent after free agent, get to the postseason and win. And so when you miss on a guy who you were heavily after, you just quickly pivot. And the question is does Cody Bellinger want to play in Toronto? Number one, and then two, is Toronto offering him what he wants?
I think
7 years, whatever the number is.
If I had to guess, I err on the
After
side
just
of
offering Tucker 10 years.
And they're not offering Cody the same as Tucker because Tucker's a better player.
He's older.
And he's older, but I do think Toronto is a major threat right now. And Sean may be right when I brought it up earlier, but even more so today now with Bo Bichette gone, I think the hope that you have is he doesn't want to go there. The hope that you have is he wants to be a Yankee, but just reading the tea leaves, you have to think the Blue Jays are now ready to at least be really aggressive on Bellinger. The Mets are not.
I completely agree. And again, I think we have more proof than not over the course of the last couple of years that the Blue Jays have been ready to be aggressive on all of these guys, and there's a reason they don't get them.
Anthony's in Mineola. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, what's up, boys? How we doing today?
Good, man. What's up?
Good. So I'm pretty happy with Bo Bichette. I don't see why anybody wouldn't be. I've seen the trend that I've seen is that nobody's talking about. Everybody that hits in front of Juan Soto or behind them have their best years.
Yeah.
So Pete Alonso had his best year last year. Why? Oh, it's because it's Pete. He hits home runs? No. It's because he had Juan Soto in front of him. I expect like 2 or 3 big trades coming. Don't be surprised if Screwball's on the way. Thanks, boys.
I still would be. I would still be surprised, but the trade I could see coming is for an outfielder because unless they're moving Brett Beatty to left field or Jorge Polanco to left field, they still have a need there.
Yeah.
What they filled by signing Bichette is they've improved their lineup, and they've done a better job. I don't think they fully have done it, but they've done a better job of replacing what they've lost. And our last caller brings up a fair point. As much as they've lost in Pete, is Bo Bichette going to get the Soto bounce?
Right.
The fact that whether he's hitting behind him or after him, you get protection because even if you're hitting behind him, you come up with him on base so often, you tend to get more pitches to hit. So it's just or you just come up with more guys on base, honestly. So that's the benefit of hitting either before or behind Soto.
Right.
But I got to put that in my head now, how I'm going to line these 3 guys up. I had it with Tucker. I don't have it with Bo Bichette. Let's go to Josh in Texas. What's up, Josh?
How y'all doing, boys?
All's good.
What's up?
Nah, man. Look, this has been a rough off season. Like, I've wanted to fly off the I-10 flyover several times, especially after losing Diaz and Alonso.
Yep.
Like, I'll take this as a win.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, I just can't help but like feel that Boy Wonder over here is trying to think he's Brad Pitt in Moneyball, but he ain't. That's the issue, is that I feel like he's trying to be that, but then he realized, you can't exactly let a bunch of fan favorites walk away and then be expected to be greeted warmly on the street.
You know
like, what were you expecting?
But you know why I don't think this necessarily fits David Stern saying, oh, crap, I pissed a lot of Met fans off, let me pivot? Because other than giving up the draft picks, right, which I agree is a little surprising for a guy who may be gone after a year, he didn't alter from going long-term.
No.
It's not like he gave Bo Bichette an 8-year contract.
Right. So it is on a limb a little bit because of the QO that was attached to it, but it's exactly what he's always done. He's not going to overpay, meaning year-wise, for anybody.
Right.
And except for Juan Soto. And Yamamoto was offered that. But other than the generational type player, David Stearns isn't going there at all. And so that's why when you think about what's the next move, Cody Bellinger doesn't make any damn sense because you know what his agent wants.
All right, we got details on what the Phillies offered.
Okay.
You ready? Get your calculator out.
Let's go.
According to Bob Nightingale, who, a little spotty, the Phillies had agreed to Bo Bichette's request for 7 years, $200 million last night and believed they were going to sign him until the New York Mets swooped in with their 3-year, $126 million offer after losing out on the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes.
I mean, that's 14 more million AAV.
Yeah, significant.
It's significant.
But
at 28.
But it's 7 years. And it's similar to the Tucker thing with Toronto.
Yeah, but if he's great for a year and he makes $42 million and he opts out, gets $5 more million, and then goes and signs with the Dodgers,
right?
Then isn't this the better deal?
So let's do the math on this because you're right. If he has a great year and opts out, so that taking away about $47 million, including the opt-out bonus, that means all he's got to do on his next contract to match what the Phillies offered is get 6 years, $155 million.
Yeah.
Which he probably gets.
Right.
So, yes, the Mets swooped in.
At 29 years old.
You know what makes it suck for the Phillies? That Bichette's asked for something. The Phillies say yes. And then Bichette's like, never mind. I'm gone. Like, usually when someone asks for something and they give it to you, like, you've got the player. Like,
this is what I want. This gets it done.
Yeah. Did he ever go back to the Phillies and say, "Hey, sorry guys, I got this"? He didn't want to be in Philly.
No, because the Mets didn't do this until just now.
That's right. Bo Bichette was waiting. He was saying, "Please, someone rescue me from this horrible city. I cannot play in this horrible, horrible city with these disgusting fans." And Steve Cohen saved them. So we're like Spider-Man for Bo Bichette. Come on, Sean, you're enjoying this. Screw Philadelphia.
Screw Philly. This
There
feels
you
so
go.
tough week to be an Eagle Philly fan. How about that?